What's going on, guys? Gamer Dude back once again with some more Batman Gotham Knights news. So, as always, before we begin, if you are new to the channel, if you could please smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, it would be super appreciated. And if you are a returning viewer, please make sure you smash the like button as well, because it would just be your good deed of the day. So, on with the show. I promised this yesterday that I would do a video on this, and it is news regarding Nightwing's sort of Fortnite style glider and Red Hood's weird spiritual jumping thing. And this all comes from some extended gameplay that we saw earlier this month. Now, the developers behind the Gotham Knights video game have given more of an insight into the designs of Nightwing's glider and Red Hood's somewhat surprising mystical leap, which I personally, when I get the game, I probably won't use it in favor of the more traditional grappling traversal, because it's not something you have to use like Nightwing's glider. You can still use the traditional grappling traversal. So that's probably something I will do. Just the glider and the mystic leaping, it takes the fun out of it. So anyway, during a Q&A on the Gotham Knights Discord channel, creative director Patrick Redding revealed Nightwing's flying trapeze. Now, trapeze is a corny name for it, considering Nightwing, Dick Grayson, Flying Graysons, trapeze. It's corny. It's a corny joke, but I see why they did that. Anyway, they say the design was inspired by a couple of things, including some classic issues in the Nightwing solo book that saw the DC hero using his aerialistic moves with jet-powered gliders. Personally, I didn't know about that. I'm more of a Marvel comic books buff than a DC comic books buff, so I don't know much about the lore in the DC comic books. But yeah, additionally, the team wanted it to feel as though Nightwing had been through the late great Batman's arsenal. So with Batman out of the picture, Nightwing he's king of the castle. You know, he's got access to absolutely everything that Bruce Wayne had at his fingertips as Batman. Now, Nightwing's a little bit vain. You know, Dick Grayson, he's a very vain character in the Batman series. And him putting on the mantle of Batman, it's not something he wanted to do. He gave up being Robin to become his own superhero because he wanted to get out of Batman's shadow. So the last thing he wants is to put on Batman's costume and pretend to be Batman and pretend that Batman is still alive. That's probably why in Gotham Knights they've chosen to go down the road of Batman being dead, as opposed to Nightwing pretending to be Batman until, you know, the news is released that the real Batman is dead, so to speak. Anyway, moving on, he continues to say, "We liked the death-defying angle of him looking at all the various stealth drones in Batman's arsenal and calculating that he could just get away with hanging off one of the smaller models, like a trapeze, and still be able to maintain or gain altitude with it. The flying trapeze is designed to feel a bit improvised and dependent on his extreme athleticism." I mean, to be fair, yeah, they've got that part down. I personally wouldn't be able to hold on to something like that for 5 city blocks, pretty much like what they featured in the trailer. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd have fallen off pretty much immediately. But that's just me. I'm just lazy, so that's probably why. Anyway, he continues to say it fits Nightwing's approach to absolutely everything. It fits his character. Flying has such a different feel from Batgirl's cape gliding, and it blends really well with his bigger parkour and leap moves as well as grappling. Now, like I mentioned, I will probably stick to the traditional traversal of leaping and grappling because it just feels more Batman-y. You know, Nightwing doesn't have a cape. You know, he doesn't really glide that much. He's more of a grapple, fly up, and then drop down. He's kind of like a hawk or a sparrow that or a condor even that that just glides up and then comes back down and then grapples up and then comes back down and then grapples up and so on and so forth. That's more Nightwing, and I like that about him. So I don't really think I'll use that glider unless it's absolutely necessary, like you've got to cross some water, for example. I don't think I will use it. Same goes for Red Hood's spiritual ability, which I'll cover shortly. So, meanwhile, the developers continued to look for a unifying theme for each of the four heroes. So, for Red Hood, this meant tapping into some more of his lore, including his resurrection in the Lazarus Pit. Now, we all know Jason Todd was killed by the Joker and resurrected in a Lazarus Pit. In one story, it was Ra's al Ghul's fault that Joker killed Jason Todd, and Ra's al Ghul felt so guilty that he resurrected Jason Todd, and he didn't exactly come back. Well, he came back batshit. That's just the nicest way of putting it. He came back batshit. So again, not knowing much about the comic book lore, it's nice to see that they've dipped into this, but is it really necessary for the character? Will it fit well with this game? I'm not going to judge it until I've seen it, but when I watched the gameplay, it just didn't look necessary. It didn't look like we needed that particular part in this game. But anyway, he continues to explain that we really liked the idea that as Jason starts to confront the trauma of dying and being brought back to life, he begins to be able to tap into some lost spiritual abilities. That's in the same way that he's tried to reinvent himself from anti-hero to hero while retaining his strengths. He discovers he can channel these mystical talents in ways he finds familiar, through his physicality and in how he moves, but also in how he fights and even how he uses his weapons. Now, to me, Red Hood has always been a clone of Deadpool. Or Deadpool was a clone of Red Hood. I don't know which one came first. I'm not that good. I'm a fan, but I'm not that good. I don't know which one came first. If you guys do, by all means, drop it in the comments. But from the gameplay trailer, Red Hood did feel very Deadpool-esque. If you look back at the Deadpool video game, it just kind of felt like that, just minus the whole spiritual jumping thing. But with the abilities that Red Hood has in this new game, it really did feel like that. It felt like, I'm going to throw a bomb at this guy and just shoot the bomb. Deadpool. I'm just going to blast this guy with a barrage of bullets and shoot a witty remark. Deadpool. I'm just going to explode this truck and watch the guy fall out. Deadpool. It just felt very Deadpool to me. But he continues to talk about the mystical leap, and he does say we'll see that the mystic leap is just one manifestation of those powers. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I saw it in the trailer and it just looked weird. It just didn't look right. It just didn't look like it fit with the whole Batman vibe that we've gotten used to in these games. I mean, even in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you don't see Harley Quinn sort of backflipping off buildings, do you? No, she's got limitations. She's just a human. You don't see King Shark jumping in the water and attacking from the water. Well, no, because that's not who he is. He doesn't need the water to survive. My point is, if they're going to be adding more to this mystical ability, I'm really not looking forward to how it's going to go, because I'm thinking it's going to include teleportation, which will be too much like Deadpool. I mean, the Deadpool we've come to know and love in recent years, of course, doesn't have teleportation, but in the original lore, he could teleport. Anyway, moving on. Those who are eager to check this out, though, the game is due for release on October 25th, and all the trailers are everywhere for you to be seen. I would have uploaded a trailer, but I didn't get permission. You know, they didn't want me to do it, so I didn't want to go behind the backs and get a copyright strike, so I just didn't bother. However, it is worth noting that Warner Brothers have cancelled the last gen versions of this game. So if you haven't got a next gen console, it might be worth getting one, because this is happening quite a lot. And I've covered this in a video before about last gen being left behind. It's happening a lot with a lot of new games now. Destroy All Humans just got its last gen versions cancelled. Gotham Knights has its last gen versions cancelled. It wouldn't surprise me if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gets its last gen versions cancelled. There's a lot of games now that, because COVID's over and done with, the developers have had time to iron out the problems and work with new technology in order to basically just refine the game and make it so that it's just too powerful for the last gen systems to handle. So bye bye they go. But anyway, I hope that's given you a look into the whole mystical leap thing and the gliding ability that Nightwing's going to have. Well, not ability, but technology that Nightwing's going to have. Because I don't know how I feel about it, so please let me know how you guys feel about it. If it's going to damage the game in any way, if it's going to make it feel less Batman-y and more Fortnite-y. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But yeah, that's it for this video then, so thank you all for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Once again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe. It would be super appreciated. And if you are a returning viewer, please do be sure to smash the like button anyway, because it would just be your good deed of the day. So stay tuned this week, because of course we are going to be continuing our Telltale Games series with The Walking Dead, the final season. We are on episode 3 this week. Week after, final episode, and then we'll be going on to the Michonne story. So it's going to be a good couple of weeks. And not to worry, I know I've got a lot to do to earn back your viewership and trust, but I'm working on it. I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, that's it then. So this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch y'all in the next one, guys.